Now we go to the next topic, that is a food chain. What is a food chain? Food chain is nothing but a series of organisms taking part at various biotic levels, feeding on one another. The eating and being eaten. That is the chain. The chain consists of organisms that are eating and they are being eaten. Each step of the food chain form a trophic level. The producers or autotrophs are at the lowermost or at the first trophic level. They fix the solar energy and make it available to the heterotrophs or consumers. The herbivores or primary consumers come at the second level. The carnivores or secondary consumers are the third level. And the tertiary consumers or the large carnivores form the fourth trophic level. So if you are asked to write examples of the food chain, you may quote any of these three examples. There is a plant, which is at the lowermost level. Plant is eaten by a deer. Deer is eaten by a tiger. So in that particular food chain, there are only three levels. In the second example, you will see that the grass is eaten by insect. Insect is eaten by frog. Frog is eaten by a snake, which in turn is eaten by an eagle. So in that particular food chain, there are 5 trophic levels. Whereas in the third example, which is an example of an aquatic food chain, where the algae are at the bottommost level, the algae are eaten by the aquatic organisms, which in turn are eaten by the small fishes. Small fishes are eaten by the bigger fishes, and then ultimately by the crane. So here also you have 4 levels in this food chain. So as you can observe different examples, you come to know that the different levels in a food chain may vary. Some of the food chains may have only 3 levels, some other food chains may have 4, and some others will have 5. Now we come to the energy transfer in the food chain. Why do we need food? The food that you eat provides the energy to do the work. So interaction between the various components of the environment involve flow of energy from one component to another. The autotrophs, as I told you, they capture the energy from the sun and convert it into chemical energy. This energy goes to the heterotrophs and the consumers. One form of energy is changed to another form of energy, and some amount of energy is lost to the environment. That is energy that which we get as heat, which cannot be used back again. Now we go to the next topic. Energy flow is unidirectional. What do you mean by unidirectional? Unidirectional means it flows always in a single direction. So this question, energy flow is unidirectional, justify the statement. So how do you begin this answer? The green plants, again we start the answer with the green plants. The green plants in the ecosystem capture 1% of the sun's energy and convert into chemical energy. As you all know that the sun is the ultimate source of energy. But out of so much of heat and energy coming from the sun, the green plants are capturing only 1% of the sun's energy. When green plants are eaten by the primary consumers, some amount of energy is lost to the environment as heat. Some of it is utilized for their digestion, growth, etc. And only 10% is available to the next level. Therefore, 10% is taken as the average value of organic matter going to the next level of consumers. This can also be taken as, or can be called as, the 10% law of energy transfer. You might be observing that in each level, only 10% of the energy is passed to the next level. Since so little energy is available for the consumers, food chain consists of only 3 or 4 steps. The loss of energy is so great that very little energy remains after the 4 trophic levels. There are greater number of individuals at the lower trophic level, that is the producers. So we say that energy flow is unidirectional. That is, energy captured by the autotrophs do not revert back or do not go back to the solar input, and the energy from the herbivores does not go back to the autotrophs. It always moves progressively to the various trophic level and is not available to the previous level. So these few points that I told you just now, they are very, very important. Energy flow is unidirectional. Justify the statement. Question can come like this. So you'll have to mention all these points. Otherwise, you might be asked why there are only 3 or 4 steps in every food chain. For that also the answer is almost the same. You have to say with the green plants capturing only 1% of the sun's energy. After all their works, after their utilization, only 10% is available to the next level, and next 10% is only going to the consumers. So by the time energy reaches the fourth level, there is very little energy left. So at the most, there are only 4 trophic levels in every food chain. And another question that is important from this part is, why is energy flow said to be unidirectional? We say that energy flow is unidirectional because energy, once it comes from the solar input, that energy cannot go back to the solar input. Similarly, the energy that goes from the producers to the consumers, it cannot come back to the producers. So that is, it moves progressively to the various trophic level and is not available to the previous level. Now our next topic is food web. As you have seen in the video, you have seen that the length and complexity of the food chain may vary. Each organism is eaten by 2 or more other kinds of organisms, which are again eaten by several other organisms. So instead of a straight line food chain, the relationship can be shown as a series of branching lines. Some branches of lines are there, and that is called the food web.